So, welcome back to Donington Park, everybody. This time, race 2 for the Miata Trophy. We saw a brilliant, action-packed race in race 1. Declan Lee stalling off the line, carving his way through the order. John Langridge following him through the field once Declan had recovered. The battle for second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. The battle for the lead was brilliant as well between Aidan Hills and James Cossins. We can guide you through the way in which they line up, which we've had 2 amended grids for this one with a bit of post-race shuffling. Nicholas Stott will line up on pole position. Will Morris alongside 4 and 17 on row 1. Chris Dawkins and Alex Miller line up on row 2, car 3 and car 7. Declan Lee and Aidan Hills make up row 3 of the grid, that being car 12 and car 8. Row 4 is James Cossins and Ollie Allwood, car 24 and car 63. On row 5 of the grid, it's Colin Bysouth and Jack Brewer, treble 8 and 93 on row 5. Row 6, John Robinson has got Jack Hodges alongside, car 2 and 28. Will Powell has got John Langridge for company on row 7 of the grid, car 25 and car 1. Reigning champion John Langridge with a bit of work to do once again in race 2. Drew Fletcher and David Chapman make up row 8 of the grid, 26 and 19. Jack Hargraves and Kamal Khalsi make up row 9 of the grid, 66 and 64. Neil Bullin and David Robinson make up row 10 of the grid, 76 and 46. Ed McDermott and Ian Abel are on row 11, 181 and 23. And Jasmine Sherrington and Mark Stepney make up row 12 of the grid, 22 and 33. 2 rows back, we've got Ben Taylor as he falls into Class ND Maxi with the car being non-compliant to Miata Trophy regulations. And then a row back from there with a 10-second delay is David Newitt, car number 77. Exactly what happened to the Hills Motorsport entrant, I am unaware. But with the safety car naturally sat there on standby as a very, very, very sideways Chris Dawkins appears into view. He's clearly trying to get temperature in those rear tyres, armfuls of opposite lock, and I suppose that's the way you warm up these tyres, just on the way out. The Toyo Proxys R888R out of the Melbourne hairpin. Was very sideways indeed. Interested to see what effectively what row 4 can do. James Cossins and Ollie Allwood starting 7th and 8th were very quick in race 1. James Cossins finishing in 2nd place, Ollie Allwood finishing in 3rd. What they can do will be decided. Also what Drew Fletcher can do as well. I don't know whether he's an EasyJet captain, but an EasyJet pilot nonetheless, and forever posting about his travels around Europe, and enjoys a bit of motorsport on the weekend and has been racing in the Miata Trophy for a number of years now and isn't exactly slow when he gets behind the wheel of one of these MX-5 Mark IIIs, the NC model. So with cars coming to a halt, the grid begins to form and another exciting race promised. Ed McDermott, ever the character, let's see what he can do. He's just coming into his position on the grid now as well. Let's see what David Newitt can do. Can he overcome the 10-second delay? But also Ben Taylor, starting in what is effectively 25th place. He got up to 20th in race 1. Can he do better in race number 2? The field nearly formed. Just waiting on the green flag mark. So the field has formed with the 2-row gaps between those 2 cars towards the tail end of the order, albeit David Newick is being told to go somewhere different, and he's like, no, this is what it shows on the grid. But having a conversation with the marshal to figure out exactly. On the grid I've got, he should just be a row forward, but that's it.
I think he's just explaining he needs to go on the Union flag, and it's on the drop of the Union flag, not the raise of the Union flag.
Absolutely. So green flag waved at the tail end nonetheless. 5-second board held aloft. Nicholas Stott and Will Morris on the front row of the grid. Chris Dawkins and Alex Miller on row 2. Red lights go on. As the red lights go out, Declan Lee this time gets away. Plenty of wheel spin. Made sure he got off the line. It's a good start from James Cossins. Immediately gets the jump on Ollie Allwood. The Union flag drops, so David Newitt gets his race underway. But on the run towards turn 1, it's very congested indeed. In the lead of the race is going to be Will Morris. Up the inside is the number 11 of Chris Dawkins. Alex Miller all the way through the gravel, got shuffled wide, and now he's got a long race ahead to try and carve his way through the order. That is a very busy section of circuit on the exit of Redgate as the entire field carves its way down through the crane of curves. But a good start from Will Morris. Aidan Hills from 6th to 2nd in the space of 1 corner. You can see the car dancing around on the very limit of the grip that car can produce, as the circuit is still very, very damp indeed. Still slightly drier than I think it was this morning, but It's going to be Will Morris who starts second, leads the way. Aidan Hills is in second place. And then it's going to be James Cossins, who started in 7th place. He's right the way up into 3rd, followed then by, I think, Nicholas Stott, who's on the inside of Chris Dawkins. There's contact between the pair of them. That shuffles them both wide. Ollie Allwood is there or thereabouts. He gets a punt from Declan Lee to try and carve him up through the order. And Ed McDermott, unfortunately, into retirement.
Yeah, Ed was going to give it a go in race number 2, and if he wasn't happy, he was going to retire the car, was the message that he sent me earlier on. So I think he's had no choice but to retire the car up at Redgate Corner. So they head down the exhibition straight and in towards the braking area for the Fogarty S's for the first time. Will Morris leading the way from Aidan Hills in 2nd place. The fast starting car of James Cousins sitting there in 3rd position at this stage. Ollie Allwood completing the top 4 at the wheel of his white and multicoloured car. What of the progress back through the order of Alex Miller? That's the black car with a gold rollover hoop. Well, he dropped to the very tail end of the order. He's gained about 5 or 6 places since then, and there's a spin for Mark Stepney through the Fogarty S's. The Dayglow yellow car appears into sight, going nowhere.
It does indeed. The top 3 have built up a couple of car lengths gap between themselves and Ollie Allwood. Will Morris doesn't really have to defend from Aidan Hills, as he's doing the same from James Cossins, but you would have thought that those 2 Hills Motorsport entrants would have said, or they would have had a conversation by way of, let's work together. They'll be waving around frantically in the cockpit. The number 17 machine of Will Morris, also a Hills Motorsport car, so it's Hills Motorsport 1, 2, 3 at the moment, followed then by Ollie Allwood in 4th place, a rather lonely Ollie Allwood. Then it's Nicholas Stott and Declan Lee. Those 2 are together. Those 2 teammates as well, also for Hills Motorsport, I believe. Yes, they are. So it's a Hills Motorsport 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. Not a bad way to represent your team.
No, they're going beautifully well, aren't they? And now Aidan Hills is coming under pressure from James Cossins, who was looking one way and looking the other. They're down to the wettest part of the circuit. You see a bit more spray, can't you, coming from the tail end of the cars there. All of these cars again running the Proxys R88R tyre, so similar to we've seen in some of the other categories this weekend organised by MSVT. The top 3 getting together. Will Morris, I think, a little bit slower through the old hairpin, which now means the top 3 are edging up ever closer, and going with them also is Ollie Allwood, who's trying to close in to make it a quartet for the lead of the race. Now Aidan Hills looking to try and take the lead of the race, is he here? Will Morris leading. Aidan Hills looking for the inside line as they head up in towards Coppice. Is he going to go through and take the lead? Well, he's on the inside line, but of course if Will Morris braves it out all the way around the outside, he's still going to have the inside line when they get towards the Fogarty S's. But I think Aidan Hills trying to attack. He's actually lost a place. He's dropped down into 3rd.
He has indeed. I think he was fearing the oversteer into the side of Will Morris, so just dabbed the brakes, got the car slowed down. You can see the car dancing around on the brakes. So it's going to be Will Morris from James Cossins from Aidan Hills. But of course, with that moment, it's delayed them all. And what that has done is brought that of Ollie Allwood back into the mix. So top 4 together. Declan Lee has managed to work his way through and past Nicholas Stott. Sideways is Aidan Hills on the brakes. Did he just lock the front or lock the rear? Whatever happened, he arrived sideways on the run down in towards the Melbourne hairpin. So what that has done is drop him through and past Declan Lee, Nicholas Stott, and I think the number 11 as well of Chris Dawkins.
I mean, hats off to Aidan Hills, A, for not losing too much time, B, for not actually fully spinning, and C, for not clattering into the customer cars, because he was totally out of shape and still managed to not make contact with anybody. So good driving from him. Will Morris, as a result of all of that, now leads and has a little bit of an advantage between himself and Ollie Allwood, who's there in 2nd place. James Cossins has got 2 wheels on the grass and he's going to go round and through and ahead of Ollie Allwood. They're all dancing around, aren't they? You can see the tail end of the cars are really wagging, so it must just be that horrible sort of in-between damp and sort of greasy and horrible part of the circuit at the moment.
Yeah, I think Aidan Hills was thinking, oh God, I better not bend it because I've got to fix it as well. So Aidan Hills now down into 7th place. Ollie Allwood was there or thereabouts, wasn't he? But James Cossins just had enough to answer and managed to hold on to that place. Declan Lee up into 4th place after a slower start, but definitely a quicker start than he had in race 1 with that stall. He is 4th place and now wanting to close in on those top 3, 2 of which are Hills Motorsport teammates, albeit gloves are off. James Cossins all the way around the outside. Brilliant move. Is it there or thereabouts? I think he is. Yes, Will Morris down into 2nd place. James Cossins, you don't see somebody go around the outside there very often.
And that suggests that the outside line is still the best line. It offers up more grip at the moment. The usual racing line is still not quite there as yet. It's still just a little bit too slick and greasy. So it is James Cossins into the lead of the race. It's Will Morris in the black number 17 car down into second place, but under attack from Ollie Allwood, who is right on his coattails as they turn their way through the left and the right flicks at the Fogarty S's. They're on lap 3 at the moment. We've still got Declan Lee in the dark green car sitting there in 4th position, the number 12 car. Nicholas Stott is in 5th place, and are we going to have another change for the lead? Yes, into the braking out the Melbourne hairpin. Will Morris has the inside line. He's going to squeeze his way through. James Cossins bravest now all the way around the outside at the Melbourne hairpin, and has his nose back ahead by the time they head up towards Goddard. So the outside line still is the quicker one of the two at the moment.
It is indeed. Declan Lee bouncing all over the grass. Ollie Allwood late on the brakes, dives to the inside of Will Morris. This could make it good for second place. Piles the lock on to try and get the car slowed down, does so. And now it's going to be Ollie Allwood that remains in second place, albeit that's slightly hampered that of Will Morris. So Declan Lee closes in once more. Aidan Hills has managed to work his way back through and past the car of Jack Brewer. So for Aidan Hills, he's now got to catch up one of his customers, Declan Lee, and close down that gap to the rest of the top 4. Further down the order, we've got plenty of battles going on. John Langridge is trying to close in on Nicholas Stott. John Langridge starting right the way back in 14th place. As he crossed the line, he's up into 8th.
Yeah, and there was big places lost there by the number 888 car of Colin Bysouth, and that was because he had a moment coming around through Goddard's, was all over the grass, outbraked himself, and by the time he'd clambered back onto the circuit, he dropped outside of the top 10 and had lost 6 places, down to 14th place for the number 888 car that time through. James Cossins leading the way, new fastest lap of the race last time through, 2 minutes 2.540 from him, and going to show that the circuit is still improving in terms of lap times. Aidan Hills up to 5th place after his problems that dropped him down to 7th. So 2 places gained that time through, and he's again pushing that car hard. You could see him having to correct the steering midway through McLean's corner as the car was not quite compliant with his input. It was a bit of turning oversteer, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Will Morris with a finger out the window. I don't know whether that means he's trying. Yes, so just spotting that. The number 11 machine of Chris Dawkins, who started 3rd place. He was up inside the top 10 for a long, long while with a mistake through the Fogarty S's, has popped that car into the gravel, and it's annoying because it's only the rear axle that's dropped into the gravel, and unfortunately he can't get that car back out and onto the circuit. Ollie Allwood now looking to the inside of Will Morris. Will Morris shuffled right the way out to the curb, a bit of contact between the pair of them. Declan Lee has got the best seats in the house watching this all unfold in front of him. Was there contact, or was that Will Morris hitting the curb?
I don't know. I was
looking
at Declan Lee running very wide and 2 wheels onto the grass on the outside of the
time.
Melbourne hairpin.
And then getting away with
it. Again, good driving by the drivers. When they spot a yellow flag, as they were doing earlier on, just holding the handle off to warn the driver behind that there is a yellow flag and therefore not to overtake. So we saw that in race number 1, didn't we? Sensible driving by the Miata Trophy drivers. So James Cossins still leading the way from Will Morris and then Ollie Allwood. As for Chris Dawkins' car, well, the marshals have had a go at trying to shove it, but it is buried pretty much axle deep, isn't it, into the gravel trap. And with that car so close to the very edge of the circuit, they can't leave it there, they can't push it out. They're going to have to snatch it. Whether they do that as a live snatch or whether we need to have some sort of nullification of the race for a period of time, we'll wait and see.
Yeah, and definitely we'll be hoping for the latter to get him in touch with that top 3. Ollie Allwood has fallen away somewhat. The top 3 generally have really started to spread out, rather equidistantly spread, which means that Declan Lee will be hoping to close in on Ollie Allwood, pick him off, and then close in on his Hills Motorsport teammate. Aidan Hills in turn has closed in on Declan Lee. Last time through, who set the fastest lap of anyone? Aidan Hills, a 2 minute 2.855, his personal best. In fact, it was James Cossins at the front of the field that set the fastest lap of anybody else around him. 2 minute 2.690, extended that lead margin. So for the moment, the sort of top 6 remain as they are. As for John Langridge, picking up another place, he managed to work his way through and past Nico Stott on the lap prior. The top 3 have separated. It's still James Cossins that leads from Will Powell and Ollie Allwood. Declan Lee sat there in 4th place, Aidan Hills in 6th, Jack Brewer in 7th place, John Langridge up into 8th, having worked his way through and past Nico Stott. Drew Fletcher is sat there in 9th as well. So Drew will be hoping for another good result, and consistent top 10s from Drew Fletcher. He just likes to bag those points. He's never at the very, very pointy end, but can definitely fight his own battles whilst out there. 9 3/4 minutes of the race still to go. And Declan Lee, is he getting closer to the eye? I would say he is. Last time through, 1.6 seconds was the margin, or 1.7 seconds. I think it was actually 1.9 seconds. It's now 1.7 seconds with the fastest lap of the race from Declan Lee. 2-minute 1.889. The only driver in this race to break into the 2-minute ones.
Yep, so going beautifully well, Declan Lee. You can see Aidan Hill sliding the car round on the exit of Redgate Corner all over the runoff tarmac. That would have been a track limits infringement there because he was way beyond the red and white painted curb and almost dipped a wheel into the gravel trap on the exit of the corner. So he's still pushing hard, the man who is yet to be beaten in the Miata Trophy so far this season. Claimed a win earlier on today on top of the 2 wins that came at Snetterton, the 2 wins at Silverstone, the win that he took at Brands Hatch. But that mistake earlier on sees him from 7th up to 5th and is still pushing hard to try and recover. Still plenty of time for him to get there, so there's still 8 3/4 minutes of the race still remain. But James Cossins is the man who leads the way and has about 3/4 of a second gap between himself and Will Morris, who's there in 2nd place. I think Will Morris has closed up a little bit on this lap. A couple of car lengths between them as they went through Coppice Corner that time through, so the gap's coming down 1st to 2nd in my eyes.
It is indeed. James Cossins trying to break the toe. We know it's important, can't do it too much, weaving around along the exhibition straight. Will Morris all over the curb. You could see the car wobble left to right as he was trying to get the brakes on without locking up. And yeah, the top sort of 5 have spread out somewhat. James Cossins lead whilst we saw Will Morris close in. I think the gap's come back out once again. Ollie Allwood is watching this all unfold in front of him in 3rd place and just doesn't want to fall into the clutches of Declan Lee. John Langridge in turn is starting to apply some pressure onto Jack Brewer. That will be for 6th and 7th place respectively. Drew Fletcher under pressure from losing a position here. At the moment Nico Stotti's up the road, that was his next target. He's now scrapping away with the number 28 machine in the hands of Jack Hodges.
Declan Lee almost rear wheels on beyond the curb line again, coming out of Goddard's that time through. And as a result, his lap time is a little bit slower than his previous best. New fastest lap of the race last time to the overall race leader, James Cossins, putting in a time of 2 minutes 1.334. So that is now the fastest lap that we have seen. There is an extra 2 championship points to go to the driver that sets the fastest lap of the race. Side by side towards Redgate Corner is Drew Fletcher, who is having to stick his elbows out a little bit here. He's involved in a 4-car battle, isn't he, as they head side by side onto the top of the Craner curves. 3 wide at the top of Craner. Is that going to work? It is for the moment. Alex Miller is at the tail end of that little queue. Of course, he was the driver that had the off at Redgate, and he has had to carve his way back through the order. He's now at least inside the top 12 at the wheel of the black and the gold number 7 car.
He is indeed. He's trying to work his way through and past Jack Hodges. That will be his next target. James Cossins last time through with that fastest lap of the race, the 2:01.334, that allowed him to pull a bit of a gap. The track is definitely getting quicker. We're getting more and more drivers into the 2-minute ones. Naturally, as the fuel load comes out of the car, you should expect a bit more pace to be unlocked. Who else is in that little battle? I know that Drew Fletcher
Jack Hodges and Drew Fletcher
is there.
And Will Powell.
Will Powell is there. That's who's there. Yeah, so Will Powell is in the middle of that little battle. He's also got Alex Miller to try and worry about. The car of Chris Dawkins remains where it is. I think drivers are aware, and with its position they're clearly happy enough. John Langridge has managed to work his way through and past the 93 of Jack Brewer. Declan Lee is closing in on Ollie Allwood to the eye. He has got closer. The top 4 very equidistantly spread. Normally you expect them to get closer. Drew Fletcher now looking in his rearview mirror as the number 25 of Powell gets very, very sideways indeed. Somehow keeps the car pointing the right way, but that very nearly swapped ends on him.
Yeah, and he's now fallen into the clutches of the car of Alex Miller, who's looking to try and recover. Alex Miller sends one up the inside as they head in towards Goddard's. So having to brave it out around the outside will be Will Powell. And of course, we still know that that outside line offers up a little bit more grip, and therefore the black car with the light green wing mirrors, still hangs on to the place, and Drew Fletcher now is in danger of losing a position as he's got one car to driver's left, one car to driver's right, but he's still just going to have his nose ahead as they head through Redgate Corner. This is a brilliant little fight, isn't it, between them all?
It really is. Alex Miller way over the curb. So too was the car behind Jack Hodges. Drew Fletcher really hot on these mirrors at the moment, but now Alex Miller just about got the nose to the inside. Drew Fletcher wise to the move. Manages to maintain the grip as best as possible, but very, very sideways through the old hairpin, rumbles through the grass, being clattered around in the cockpit. You can see him holding on for dear life. The car flicks left, flicks right, flicks left, manages to avoid contact, I think. Unfortunately, Colin Bysouth, his race goes from bad to worse and ends up right the way out in the gravel and the grass. Drew Fletcher manages to rejoin. It's a shame the battle extinguished like that, but to see Drew Fletcher's head bobbing around was quite violent, didn't he? Go on.
Yeah, he was arm twirling to try and keep it under control. Colin Bysouth had to swerve to driver's right, so everybody was good with their reactions. Did you spot in the background of the shot, if you're watching the live stream, the reactions of the marshals?
No.
They have to have their wits about them because they straight away knew with the sideways Colin Bysouth going through the gravel trap, they were going to get splattered in gravel. Their reactions was fantastic as well. They ducked down to avoid getting pepper dashed.
We'll have to check that one back. Last time through, Declan Lee with another fastest lap of the race, 2 minutes at 0.827. That's quick, very quick indeed. 2/10 quicker than the race leader went last time through. Alex Miller having got through and passed that of Will Powell. Will Powell slightly deeper on the brakes on the run in towards the Melbourne hairpin. James Cossins responds with another fastest lap of the race, 2 minute 0.751. Declan Lee not quite so quick this time. Alex Miller, he's on a mission through the order. It's a very Declan Lee Race 1-esque drive, isn't it? From the very back of the grid, after a mistake on the first lap. He's pushing on, is Alex Miller. Goes through, what position is he in? As he breaks the beam, he's up into 9th.
Yep, so good recovery drive from Alex Miller, but still not the result that he would have wanted, but a damn sight better than where he was at the beginning of this race, having come out of Redgate Corner and finding himself right at the very tail end of the field when he was pushed wide all through the gravel trap. So we've got less than 3 minutes to go in this race. James Cossins just lapping quicker and quicker and quicker, as he is tending to do. That is a 2 minute 0.751 second lap, so almost into the 159s. Alex Miller sideways going in towards the Melbourne hairpin, gathers it up, and that slows his exit speed and just allows Will Powell in the black car with the light green rollover hoop to begin to edge up ever closer to him, but the order still remains the same between those two as they start to flash their way up towards McLean's corner on what will be lap number 9 this time.
It will indeed. So sideways through there is Alex Miller on the very edge, just finding where the grip is at its best. For the moment, Alex Miller and Will Powell remain as they are. As for Ollie Allwood, he's fallen away from Will Morris up the road and is falling into the clutches of Declan Lee. There's 2 minutes of the race to go. We will be going on to the final lap of the race, so Ollie Allwood just needs to hold on to this position, but Declan Lee is absolutely flying, really trying to close in for the final step on the podium. On the brakes in towards Goddard's go the top 3, and it's still James Cossins from Will Morris, from Ollie Allwood, and from that of Declan Lee, but they're not that far away at all. They just pick their way through a little bit of traffic. It's Mark Stepney this time. As for Aidan Hills, he's fending off any attentions from John Langridge, who's clearly been off the road at some point. The front of that car covered in gravel. So too is the number 93 of Jack Brewer. I think he's been off the road at some point. Nico Stott over the line in a rather quiet 8th place. As for the battle 9th and 10th, it's Will Powell from Jack Hodges. Alex Miller has made a mistake and fallen back behind them both. Last time through, Alex Miller crossed the line in 9th place. He's now down into 11th. Will Powell and Jack Hodges back through. Alex Miller still pushing on to try and gain further places. It's just cost him a couples. Declan Lee in turn, he's trying to close in for that final step on the podium. He'll see Ollie Allwood up the road. At the moment, he's just too far away, but with still a couple of corners to go on this lap, the final lap of the race, he really is closing in. You can see on the side of his car, if you're watching on the live stream, just how hard he's been pushing, because there's bits of gravel and dirt splattered up the side of that car. So He's clearly been pushing the limits not only of the car but of the track limits as well, and does the same again, kicking all the dirt up into the air and onto the circuit as they head on towards the exhibition straight. Declan Lee really pushing on. He's closed in massively on this lap, on the brakes in towards the Fogarty S's. Declan Lee is there or thereabouts. We could see a move heading in towards the Melbourne hairpin, but it's not the best run out of the Fogarty S's from Declan Lee. He's going to be too far back on this occasion. It may be in towards Goddard's for the final time of asking. We could see a change for how the podium will look, but James Cossins out of the Melbourne hairpin for the final time. The checkered flag is awaiting his arrival. Declan Lee pushed slightly too hard on the exit of the Melbourne hairpin. I think that just cost him that final step on the podium. One more lap, he would have been there. But out of the final corner for the final time will come James Cossins. And James Cossins comes through to take the win in race number 2 of the Miata Trophy here at Donington Park. Over the line in second place comes Will Morris. Ollie Allwood over the line to finish in third, making that 2 podiums from 2. Declan Lee over the line in fourth place. Aidan Hills over the line to finish in fifth place. John Langridge, another good drive from him from 14th back up to 6th once again for John. Jack Brewer over the line in 7th place, followed by Nico Stott, who just comes over the line now. So Nicholas Stott finishes in 8th place. 9th place will go the way of Will Powell, or will it? Will Powell on the final lap of the race picks up a penalty. We'll try and confirm what that's for. 5-second time penalty, so for exceeding track limits. So 9th place goes the way of Jack Hodges. 10th place for Alex Miller. 11th place for Will Powell. It's Colin Bysouth that finished in 12th place. 13th place was Kamal Kelsey. And we'll confirm the rest of results for you as and when they are made available to us. But what another brilliant race from the Miata Trophy. What an advert that was for the championship. If you are looking for budget-friendly, close racing with a very friendly and tight-knit paddock, look no further. Miata Trophy is the place for you. On that very final lap of the race, we got our only sub-1 minute lap time. James Cossins went through 1 minute 59.946. A very, very quick lap from James Cossins. He was pushing right the way until the very, very end. But 2 fabulous 20-minute races from the MSVT Miata Trophy. In a few moments' time, we will get the next races underway. But first, let's run you through the way they finished. James Cossins took the win ahead of Will Morris and Ollie Allwood. It was then Declan Lee and Aidan Hills to finish 4th and 5th. 6th was John Langridge, followed by Jack Brewer and Nico Stott. It was Jack Hodges that finished in 9th place ahead of Alex Miller, rounding out your top 10. The penalty-stricken Will Powell will finish in 11th place ahead of then Colin Bysouth in 12th place. 13th place was Kamal Kelsey, followed by the number 19 of David Chapman that finished in 14th place. 15th was the number 84 of Ben Taylor. In what was 16th place, it was John Robinson. 17th place, Drew Fletcher after a small mistake through the gravel. In 18th place, car number 46, that being David Robinson. In 19th place, car number 76, that being Neil Bullen. And to round out your top 20, it was Ian Abel. Mark, you should have drivers coming towards you very shortly. James Cossins just working his way down the pit lane, followed by Will Morris and that of Ollie Allwood. It'd be good to hear what Ollie Allwood says, because he had Declan Lee looming ever larger in his rearview mirror over those final couple of laps and must have been waiting for that clock just to tick down and waiting for that checkered flag to appear. It's going to be a very busy Parc Fermé area for you to try and dig through. But it's great to see 26 cars joining us this weekend for the Miata Trophy, Mark.
Yep, so they're just heading through Parc Fermé now.
They should know what the process is, because of course it took them a while to come up to the 1, 2, 3 boards, and this time you can hear the revving of the engine in the background of James Cossins, who is delighted with that. Of course, the first man to break the dominance this season of Aidan Hills. Our top 3 cars all in position. We're going to interview the drivers first, and then we'll get our podium underway, because I should still be able to conclude the podium for this if you're here at the circuit. With back-to-back live streams, so you should be able to commentate on the next race if we overrun Jack, and it shouldn't affect what we're doing here with the localised PA. So there's a big hug and a congratulations from James Cossins and Will Morris. Will Morris now also wandering across to congratulate Ollie Allwood. Bottle of water in hand for James Cossins to take a well-earned drink of, should he wish. Off comes the crash helmet, take a glug of the water, and then we'll grab a quick word with James. He's all ready to have out. James, congratulations, the first man to beat the dominance of Aidan Hills this year.
Oh, yeah. That's quite a weird thing to think about, really. He's unstoppable, him. But I think the only reason is we had a little, I don't even know what happened. We all got sort of checked up a little bit into a hairpin, and it was a bit of a domino effect, and then looked to my right and I saw the back of Aiden's car. It's the black part. Usually it's blue at the front. So I was a bit confused by that one. But yeah, I'm aware I probably wasn't the quickest out there, but just kept the gap between Will. I just kept it on the road, really. Just happy with it.
The lap times would tell you that you were the quickest one out there. You kept setting the fastest lap of the race and were the only driver to go sub 2 minutes on the very final lap.
Oh, nice. Do I get an extra trophy for that?
You get an extra 2 championship points, we can give you those.
Yeah, I'll take that. Go on then. That'll be right then. I'll take it.
Great way to end the weekend. Very different conditions to race 1.
Yeah. Although, funnily enough, still relatively similar lines until about 3/4 of the way through. And then all of a sudden, someone had just turned the underfloor heating on and it was just almost dry lines again. But quite sketchy on some of the curbs, I'll tell you that for free. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Had a great amount of fun. I'm not too sure where Aiden finished, but hopefully he's okay. If anything he did good. And congrats to Will as well. I think it's his first, actually no, I think it's the first time we've shared a podium.
Well, it's his first podium of the season. Yeah, so well done to you, well done. Let's grab a quick word with Will if we can. So Will Morris is over here, just received the congratulations of Aiden Hills. And then, oh, I don't think I can move much further without losing the radio mic, so we'll beckon him over. Will Morris, congratulations, your first podium of the season. The smile on your face tells me everything I need to know.
It does, yeah, no, it's a great race. From the start, it was just head down, try and keep out front for as long as possible, which we were doing quite well, and then slowly but surely people came past and tried to stay with Cousins, but he's just a little bit quicker. So it was just keeping it on the track in those tricky conditions, and went well towards the end. Yeah, happy.
And also trying to make sure that you avoided the contact when Aiden Hills was absolutely sideways heading towards you.
Yeah, I saw it in the rear view. I mean, I felt the knock and then saw him sideways and was thinking, oh, what's going on here? But luckily, I think it was just straight on the back, so it kept us straight. But yeah, okay at the end.
First podium. That gives you good momentum into the next rounds.
It does, yeah. I mean, Sneston didn't go too well. Could have had a podium there, but threw away with a mistake. So it's nice to get on the podium again and hopefully start the snowball effect.
No mistakes in tricky conditions. Well done indeed. And let's grab a quick word with our third place driver over here, which is Oliver Allwood. So I'll just work my way this way and grab a quick word with Ollie. 2 from 2. Well done.
Yeah, it's not a bad day, is it? Pole and 2 podiums. Shame they're both third places, but I'm pretty happy. It's been a good weekend.
It's consistency, though, isn't it? That's what you need.
Yeah, I think conditions like this, I've been doing this a long time. So I think just maybe that experience comes through a little bit rather than pace. Clearly I didn't have enough pace for these boys. James was just rapid and drove an excellent race. Will was second. First half of the race I sort of had him in the wet, but once he dried out he was gone, so I just tried to hang on.
What about Declan Lee in the closing stages? He was giving you plenty to think about.
Yeah, he was quick, but I think he made mistakes, so I think he was quicker than me for sure, but I think it was like 2 laps quicker, 1 lap slower. Not that I'd have lasted too much longer. I'm glad it wasn't a 25-minute race.
Good conditions, though, out there. They slowly improved all the way through. So as I think the race winner was alluding to, James Cousins, you know, the lines that you had to take were evolving all the time.
Yeah, it was horrendous, actually. Although it got drier, I would rather it stayed wet because the line looked dry for all intents and purposes. But when you got on it, there was nothing there. There was no grip at all. So I couldn't tell you what was the right way to drive it, but it wasn't what I was doing.
Well, well done on the 2 second or two third places throughout the day.
Cool. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
There we go. So that's all for Miata Trophy. They are done and dusted here at Donington Park. We'll catch up with them again later this season. We'll hand you back upstairs to Jack Worrell if you want to pick up on our next live streamed race. That's coming up for you very shortly.